Here we are, Beatbox Bob, Ian Buck. What's cracking? What's popping?
Hey, you know how it is, brother.
You said You said this look with this shirt on and this sweater. I look like a celebrity. You said?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's like it's the haircut, it's the facial hair, and then like the red with the gray. It's just a good. You look like you're famous, bro.
What? Is that a good thing?
I think so. I think that's a good thing. You look like somebody who's like the public values. You know what I mean?
Is it a compliment to look like you're famous?
Oh, yeah, man. Because think about it. Famous people look good. They look wealthy. They look successful. And if you're not looking famous, then you're looking not famous, which is poor, horrendous, ugly. And you're none of those things, Mosh. You certainly have always looked famous.
You know, I can completely understand why you have glasses on because the lighting kind of makes you want to blink a lot.
Dude, this lighting is like right in the ocular radar. I feel like I'm getting jammed, overwhelmed.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's making me want to squint a little bit so I can. That's a good job. I see what you did there. I'm gonna try to ride this one out without doing that. Let's talk about the big story. Let's talk about Luigi.
Ooh.
Luigi.
That's my brother.
Some dude that looked exactly like Ian Buck
Whoa.
was assassinated the United healthcare worker. I'm sure you guys all heard about that. Now, there were two separate reactions. A lot of people felt happy that the dude was killed because they believe in the healthcare is corrupt, which it is. Then there were people that were saying, this guy's got a wife and kids.
Yeah.
You should be humane and you shouldn't be applauding or joyful about intentional murder on the street, no matter who it is.
Right.
And I agree with the latter. But I mean, on Piers Morgan's show, Homegirl said she felt joy and then got dragged through the mud. She felt joy that the dude got killed. So what I would say is this: it's not the United Healthcare. Just killing that one guy doesn't do nothing. It hurts your cause. First of all, if your cause is, we want to fix the healthcare system, if you go vigilante shooting a random dude, then they're gonna say we're not gonna listen to you because you're irrational because you guys go kill people. So you're not gonna get what you want. And secondly, the dude that shot him was a privileged dude,
Right.
Yeah.
rich kid,
Right.
and he apparently came from a middle-class background and worked his way up to CEO.
Come on, man.
So, I think people's brains are a little broken on this.
Dude,
Don't murder people.
No,
I'm
of
saying,
course not.
bro, this is like the epitome of entitlement. It's just baloney. You're having a problem with a super rich guy who made his way up, climbed the ladder. You're having a problem with this guy, but you're totally fine with him getting completely slaughtered in the middle of the wood. In the middle of the street like that, dude. Come on, it's anti-humanity, right? You're like, hey, I hate this guy because he's inhuman and he doesn't care about people.
But what if he's implemented strategies and policies in his healthcare system that has helped deny people claims which could have led to their deaths? Do you think it's justified? Do you think can you understand?
I get where you're coming from.
I get that. I don't, but that's.
But like, okay, what I'm saying,
such a far shot to say, all right, so it's cool that he died.
no, it's not. Like, regardless, I get that. I get the fact that, yeah, he probably did some evil stuff. He probably did some terrible things, all that stuff. Murder's murder, man. Murder's bad. Don't do it. It's just not a good thing at all. It's inhumane. It's just not good, man. Like, why are we killing people over here?
And then a lot of the pundits that I've seen said, we're killing people, or not we're killing people, but some people are happy that the guy was shot because it brings light these issues like healthcare. As if there is no other way to platform the issue of healthcare.
Oh, man. I feel like the meta of this situation is that this is just in preparation of healthcare reform. or like business regulation of healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this is just somebody trying to put their foot in the door in order to regulate, how healthcare works so we don't have mass insurgencies.
This may be the next, also, this might be the next narrative that they use for political gains.
All right,
let's shift gears to healthcare. Because that's one we can win. We looked at the data. Over 50% of Americans are impressionable about healthcare. So why don't we split Americans by ones who have healthcare and ones who don't?
Come on.
And it's a pretty good political move, but
it's just like it's entirely unnecessary, dude. Murder.
Yeah. I'll put it in Bob's context. Murdering people in cold blood is bad, but saving people on a train that are being menaced by somebody is also good too. But at the same time, you grabbed the dude and you held him in that choke for 6 minutes knowing that that's too long. So in New York City.
Okay.
Did you hear about this?
It's like some sort of subway situation.
Yeah, in New York City, in the subway, I think his name was Daniel Penny.
Okay. Yeah, this story, not trying to cut you off, Mosh, but this story hits close to home simply due to the fact that the person that was, acquitted or found not guilty of the charges is a United States Marine. And my father served 10 years in the Marine Corps, so being the son of a Marine, seeing that these people, not trying to name names or sides or whatnot, are going after somebody who sacrificed their own life, like risked their own life, sacrificed years of their life and their well-being and their health and their safety for our freedom of this country. They're going after this person because they're not willing to look in the details of the story. It grinds my gears, Mosh.
A lot of people would say to that just because, and they appreciate the service, but just because there was service doesn't mean there shouldn't be justice.
Right.
I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you guys believe that Daniel Penny should have done something on that train, should have intervened in some way?
Yes.
Daniel Penny himself or somebody?
The guy was going in there. He was threatening to take people's
somebody
lives. People were scared. 9 out of 11 witnesses went on trial for the defense. Nine people on the train out of the 11 witnesses were happy that Daniel Penny did what he did.
Okay. Yeah.
So apparently it was for him interjecting is justified. But my question to y'all is, I know MMA, right?
Right.
You can't choke somebody full force for 6 minutes.
No,
you can't. That is true. Although the fact of the matter is this homeless man who was a non-contributing member of society, right, came onto a subway threatening public members who were contributing members of society, including women and children. See, that's where the lines cross, Mosh, is when a person comes in and threatens the lives of women and children.
Listen, I don't disagree. That's why I made the distinction. I don't disagree that he should not have intervened. I completely agree with the intervention. However, if I go in and I go to intervene and I know I can hold you down, all I have to do is keep that grip a little bit loose so you don't die.
Right.
If I know that if I hold somebody in a blood choke for 6 minutes, the oxygen to their brain is the lack thereof would kill them. So for me, I don't understand. He could have just told people, "Hey man, get over here and hold his legs. Get over here and hold his arms." You had to have been squeezing and cutting off the oxygen to somebody's brain for 6 minutes straight. You know that's going to kill them.
Right.
I don't know for sure if that justifies a death. I definitely think that he should have did what he did and jump in there and get him in a chokehold. I completely agree. Maybe even choke him out real quick.
Right.
Where he could wake back up, and then just while you choke him out, everybody just get down on. There's a million different ways, but it seemed like you just got down on there and just
choked out a dude and was looking for a reason to do it.
And what's the justification for keep squeezing, bro?
Right.
See, in stressful situations, time feels as if it isn't as it perceived as if it is really happening, right? So things feel as if they're moving faster or slower, right? For example, in gunshot incidences, you'll have the person that was firing the firearm saying, "I only shot 5 or 6 times," but the investigation shows that there's 12, 13, 14 casings, bullet casings, and bullets in the vicinity that the person fired in, because our recollection of the event is not always accurate during or after the fact, especially in stressful situations when your adrenaline's pumping. So in this situation, when a United States Marine sees women and children and himself being threatened, not just, hey, I'm going to steal your purse, I'm going to steal your cash, but threatening lives of innocent people, you know what he's going to be trained to do? Restrain the individual. Now, should he have done it not so intensely? Probably, maybe. But,
People were screaming, "He's dying. You're killing him."
well, the fact of the matter is, I didn't watch the footage, I'll just say that, plain as day. But listening to both sides of the defense, he was saying that he applied force appropriate to that the individual he was restraining was fighting against him. So I don't know.
Here's the question though. Legally, you have to ask:
Okay.
did he intend to kill the man?
No.
So he's innocent. You got to give him innocent. And
I mean, realistically, yeah.
that's how the law works on intent.
It works only on intent for that kind of situation. I thought intent only counted for like actual murder.
No, it's only on. You can't. So if you justifiably use force,
Right.
without intending to kill somebody, that will be considered reasonable, and they die. And your intention wasn't to kill. I'm going to kill this dude just because he says he's going to kill people. That is not legal. But
Right.
if you did not intend to kill him, and you restrained him, then that's.
Couldn't it be proven that it either way at that point? I mean, we're talking about a major hub of blood vessels. We're talking about the actual windpipe. I mean, there's hundreds of other ways to restrain the guy. And furthermore, you're a Marine, right? So that means that you have training to know when your target is neutralized, right?
You should know 6 minutes is way too long.
Well,
you should know 30 seconds, dude's already done.
He's
bro.
already passed out at 30 seconds.
He's already done. Like, the target's neutralized. What are you doing? Now it's just a matter of ego at this point.
The thing is if you're trained to be the most efficient fighting force known to the planet, you're not going to say, "Oh, well, he's restrained. Let's stop fighting."
No, that's quite the contrary. If you're trained that much, you should have the most restraint.
You should know exactly when your target is neutralized and to not waste any further energy or output on it.
But that's the thing. It's not a clear-cut, plain-as-day scenario and situation. It was a confined space with multiple individuals who couldn't defend themselves, whereas he is one of the only individuals capable of doing so. So the training involved isn't a passive restraint methodology in order to neutralize your opponent. It is kill, kill, kill. That's what the Marine Corps teaches. It is the most efficient fighting force known to the planet, as stated beforehand. And when you go up against a United States Marine, he's your worst enemy.
What are you, a spokesperson?
better
Are you
friend.
are you getting paid
I'm just
by
telling-
the U.S.
no.
government, bro? You're gonna recruit like 12 people from this show right around.
Hey, if they want to join the service, then the Marine Corps isn't for the faint of heart, because they have over 200 years of tradition, which they haven't wavered from, and that makes them the most efficient fighting force.
So Daniel Penny was acquitted Monday of criminally negligent homicide. So that's what they would get him for. Intent. Was it negligent? Was the choke appropriate for the length? So that's what they tried him for, and he was acquitted in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely, who was a 30-year-old homeless man with a history of mental illness whose final. It doesn't matter about his history. It matters about what he said and did at the time. I don't care if he was arrested. I don't care if whatever. It matters.
Well, I think that there should be some consideration taken into his past history of criminal offenses, because if he has a history of constantly breaking the law and being a violent offender and always abusing drugs and never getting the help he needs to, then
We're talking about.
I don't know.
Now we're having a conversation about mental health. Now we're having a conversation about mental well-being if you're trying to get into that route. You know what I'm saying? Because generally speaking, a lot of people who are mentally unstable, either through chemical imbalances or genetics or things of that nature, generally are also co-occurring with drug abuse because they can't. First off, we're in a lower wage environment to begin with. We have no money. We can't even function in society as a normal person to begin with. So now we have to go and self-medicate. Right?
No, I get that, and
that's where the crime happens and the desperation happens, and especially if you're schizophrenic. I'm sorry for talking over you.
No, you're okay. I forgive you.
Especially if you're schizophrenic, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one of those situations where there's like you lose family, you lose everything, you got nothing. Now you're living in a shack and you can't really participate in society. Things happen, man. There's ways to diffuse that. Even in a rage state like that with somebody who's completely all the way gone, there's ways to discontinue that situation. So, if we're talking about like taking into account his criminal record, we need to take into account his mental health record as well.
There's a lot, bro.
There is
so damn serious lately in the news, bro. Like it was like we had nothing for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, dude gets acquitted. This happens. Jay-Z is popping off.
Oh my God!
Oh, you heard about? Oh my God!
We don't want to get into that right now. We don't want to get in right now. But did you guys hear who was named Man of the Year by Time Magazine?
No.
You don't know?
I have no idea.
This morning, we woke up and found out Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Who do you think it was?
Bradley Cooper.
I would guess Volodymyr Zelensky. He says Bradley Cooper, who's Time Magazine Man of the Year.
So
Person of the Year.
So just to clarify, like person of the year is like the best. Like they declare in their magazine, hey, this is the best person we recognize in
the
this
most
year.
impactful person on the world. The person of the year.
I'd have to say Elon Musk.
That's a great guess. It was Donald Trump. Donald Trump, President-elect Trump, was named Time's Person of the Year on Thursday in recognition of his stunning political comeback and an historic year when he weathered assassination attempts and felony convictions. So, I mean, the dude gets shot. He gets another assassination attempt. He's got all these felony convictions. He's dead and buried politically. He comes back, wins the presidency of America, and becomes the leader of the free world. The second person to do it non-consecutively since Grover Cleveland in the 1800s. Dude, you're the person of the year whether or not we like you.
Right.
Yeah.
I personally am kind of cool with you, but even if they don't like you or if people hate you, you are the person of the year for sure. Who else?
Like, who else in that situation? You lay it out like that. Talk about accolades, brother. Gee whiz, dude. He survived an assassination attempt. I mean, come on.
Gee whiz. Bro.
His aim was not good.
Yeah, Donald Trump's been, very impactful, whether good on some people, good on the other people. It's going to be it's great that there's nobody in his cabinet are establishment people. So I'm excited to see what it is. I like to shake it up. I love it. It's funny. It's hilarious because if I tell people, because I don't care, dude. I'm not ultra political, but I'll tell you who I vote for. And when I say I vote for Trump, people are like, dude, this guy must be a racist. People call me a racist, and I'm like, bro, that's how I know your brain is broken. Your brain is broken. If I tell you, yeah, I voted for Trump, man, how's everything going? And then you call me a racist, your brain needs to be fixed. That is just stupid, bro.
Sounds like programming to me, bro. Like somebody's just buying in and drinking the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You don't have to vilify somebody regardless of their political beliefs.
So that's what I'm saying is you can't give that award to anybody else but Trump. But it makes perfect sense. I mean, you can give it to
like Musk,
Joe Biden.
Ooh.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, man, he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. I think he's fun. I was watching the 1992 presidential debates.
Yeah.
I was watching the Democratic primaries, and then that was back when it was H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot. You remember Ross Perot?
Barely, but yeah.
Ross Perot was the gangster, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fill me in. Just give me a quick backstory on it.
Ross Perot was an independent, and that was when they had independents that went on stage with the other two, and he ran essentially on all of his. He didn't have any super PACs. He didn't have anything wild. He ran on. Let's hear a clip. Here's him talking.
Mr. Perot, 1 minute, sir.
If I'm poor and you're rich, and I can get you to defend me, that's good. But when the tables get turned, I ought to do my share.
Woo!
Right now, we spend about $300 billion a year on defense. The Japanese spend around $30 billion in Asia. The Germans spend around $30 billion in Europe. For example, Germany will spend $1 trillion building infrastructure over the next 10 years. It's kind of easy to do if you only have to pick up a $30 billion tab to defend your country. The European community is in a position to pay a lot more than they have in the past. I agree with the President. When they couldn't, we should have. Now that they can, they should. We sort of seem to have a desire to try to stay over there and control it. They don't want us to control it, very candidly. So it, I think, is very important for us to let them assume more and more of the burden, and for us to bring that money back here and rebuild our infrastructure, because we can only be a superpower if we are an economic superpower, and we can only be an economic superpower if we have a growing, expanding job base.
Racist. He's a bigot. That sounded a lot like Donald Trump.
Wow, dude. So he's like trying to close it off and pull out and then just keep all of the money so we can rebuild is the general platform.
I mean, that's part of it. He's got the best thing he said was the deficit. I watched the debate. He's like, the deficit's being raised. He's in the middle, and he's got the Republican Bush on the left, and he's got the Democrat Bill Clinton on the right.
Right.
And he's like, the debt's been climbing higher. Now I'm saying it wasn't the Republicans that did it, and it wasn't the Democrats that did it. Some extraterrestrial did this. And I just was like, oh, man, he smoked their boots. Ross Perot won all 3 debates in 1992. And by what the polls say, the polls said he won all the debates and still lost the presidency because people thought, well, if I vote for the independent, I'm throwing away my vote because the other party will win that I don't want. So he didn't get it. But Ross Perot was a big miss. Do you know anything about Ross Perot there, 21 years old?
No.
Yeah, Ross Perot was it's a good way to check the trajectory of the country.
Right.
Is to go all the way back as far as you can and just watch every presidential primary and general election debate from the early 1900s all the way down, and you can see exactly what's going on in the country and around the world.
Just because of like the topics that
Just
they
because
discuss.
of the topics, and you could see who's lying, and you could see who's defending what.
Oh,
and you
wow.
could see exactly how the country was exactly shaped. It's crazy.
That's like rewatching NFL plays, in order to play better or have your team put together. You can just go back in the past and look at the tapes and see how it all formed up.
It's a literal still shot of what's the problem in this year. 4 years later, did they solve the problem? Is it still going? What's going on here? What was the big turn here? Is that guy lying? Oh, so those guys were lying the whole time. Because you could look, especially at a debate in the 70s,
Right.
you could tell if someone's lying or not.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So they got, actually, it was harder to tell. Now you can tell a lot more easily.
I mean, you could tell by looking at what they said and then what the result happened, after the fact, and be able to like really get a good meter on, who is the liar and how to determine that.
Do you think that when Joe Biden said he wasn't going to pardon his kid, that was a lie?
When he said it,
yeah.
No, I didn't. I thought that was honest. Yeah, it felt like it was honest to me when he said it.
So you thought he was honest?
Yeah.
I at first said, maybe he wasn't gonna pardon his kid, but some other stimuli made him change his mind. So I mean, I kind of don't. Look, I don't fault him for pardoning his kid. I've said this. I don't fault him for pardoning the kid, but to do a retroactive 10-year pardon, that's a little much, man. It doesn't seem.
It seems, yeah, dude.
Seems like you might have did something in those 10 years that you're trying to. Like, what kind of pardon is that? And in case somebody charges him with anything that happened over the past 10 years since I've been vice president,
Like, okay, he's completely immune specifically to all forms of crime for the past 10 years.
What if they find out, and I'm not saying that he did this, of course, but what if they found out he committed some sort of heinous crime?
Oh.
Like, I don't even want to say the name of what a crime that it could be because they could get in trouble, but what if they found out and they're like, nope, can't prosecute him.
Like, what if Hunter Biden was actually like the most prolific serial
killer in the world?
Time? Yeah.
But, 35 bodies he confessed to, but I got immunity. He's on Oprah talking about it. When I slide, all right, we're getting.
He's just getting free.
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about a book tour. We got deals. They got YouTube channels on all his murders now. He writes books about it.
He'd probably be doing paintings.
Oh my God.
Probably be doing paintings, but but Times Person of the Year. That's very
Donald Trump. Hey, wasn't Adolf Hitler Times Person of the Year at one point?
That's what I said. Somebody said that. I was like, I said Hitler was Times Magazine's Person of the Year. Now, of course, I don't believe that Trump is Hitler.
No.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But that's making the rounds. I think Trump was Times Magazine Person of the Year before as well.
I think he was at least one more time prior to that.
So Hitler was, and then you got to go back and then go. So what does that mean? Times Magazine even means if they put Hitler there.
Well, that's what I mean,
we could be wrong, bro. You better check that. I'm gonna check that.
I'm looking it. I'm getting it. Time Magazine, 1931, Adolf Hitler.
1931, Adolf Hitler. Time.
Yeah, Time Magazine cover, December 21st, 1931.
That is a blatant endorsement. In 31.
In 31, it was before he did all the. The
Nazi stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was definitely a Nazi then.
But it was before,
it was before Nazi was a bad thing.
The heinous stuff.
Well, I guess Nazis was always a bad thing, but yeah, you know what I mean.
We could find out right now Hunter Biden was a Nazi and he would be pardoned if it happened in the last 10 years.
Oh, that's not good. That's bad news.
Who do you think's got the best chance that has the potential to do something to be Times Magazine's Man of the Year or Person of the Year next year? Who do you think is sitting there with the opportunity?
Man, thinking about it, just listening to this whole conversation, I'd have to say it would be Adolf. No.
Wow.
No, I'm joking.
I know.
In reality, it would probably have to be either Elon or somebody in the scientific sector, because there's been a lot of interesting stuff coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. Which part are you talking about?
So, okay, for example, there's a lot of, everybody's heard about it, the AI stuff.
Okay.
Like the Chat GPT and the open source conversation AI chats. You can be like, hey, how do I make waffles, right? And it'll tell you how to make waffles or something simple like that. Well, more recently, the Chat GPT AI called, I think it's called O1, right?
Did you just say LGBTQIA?
Something like that, you know what I mean? All that good stuff. But this is AI. It's not a group of people, right?
Chat GPT, AI, LGBTQ plus. I get you.
Yeah. So they've been running a lot of tests and whatnot, but the newest one basically showed that it had the capability 5% of the time to lie to the developers, basically to obfuscate what it's really trying to do. And 2% of the time, it was showing that it could basically send out itself, right, its code to another server, copy itself, and then be like, hey, I didn't do it.
So it's copying itself to other servers and then lying about it.
Bro, it's getting out there.
I guess it is obfuscating.
Yeah, it's obfuscating, exfiltrating.
Is it obfuscating or is it obfuscating?
Yes.
See, he knew, that hits correct. It is one of those. So
It's one of those two things.
He did not get that correct.
So what does that have to do with Times Magazine, though, is what I was wondering.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
See, I messed that up a bunch of times, and I kept doing it, and it took me a minute. I want to say Times Magazine, but it's Time Magazine.
Time?
It's
not Times?
I was doing it 100 times.
Oh, my goodness, dude. And I looked at the magazine cover, and it definitely doesn't say Times.
It's Time Magazine.
Time
so
Magazine.
apparently, but it should be Times because they're taking a snapshot
Right.
of individual
That's what I thought it was.
pieces of time.
Right.
But I guess it's Time Magazine.
Yeah.
So, back to the Time Magazine question.
Oh, it'd be Elon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elon,
All right, Elon.
what are you thinking?
Elon Musk.
Who do you think's got the potential to be 2025's person of the year? Who's most likely?
I mean, yeah, that's like hard to argue with, right, Elon?
Elon's definitely, he's always going to be in contention.